When two of the most valuable companies on Earth quietly align their artificial intelligence ambitions, the entire tech industry should stop and pay very close attention. We're talking about NVIDIA and Apple, and the emerging alliance surrounding Apple's Siri and NVIDIA's AI chip dominance is sending ripples through Wall Street that go far deeper than a simple partnership announcement. This is a story about the future architecture of artificial intelligence, who controls it, and what it means for the staggering valuations both companies currently carry. Let's start with the foundation here. Apple has been under significant pressure to modernize Siri. For years, Apple's voice assistant has lagged behind competitors OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, Amazon's Alexa in terms of raw conversational intelligence and contextual understanding. Apple Intelligence, the company's broader AI initiative, represents Tim Cook's most ambitious bet since the Apple Watch. And to make that bet pay off, Apple needs serious computational horsepower. That's where NVIDIA enters the picture in a very meaningful way. NVIDIA's H100 and the next-generation Blackwell GPU architecture have become the gold standard for training and running large language models. If Apple is leaning on NVIDIA silicon either through cloud infrastructure partnerships or direct chip integration into its AI pipeline, it fundamentally changes how we assess both companies' forward trajectories. Now, let's talk valuation, because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating and somewhat contentious. NVIDIA is currently trading at a price-to-earnings ratio that many traditional investors find breathtaking, a reflection of the market's belief that AI chip demand is not a bubble but a structural, decade-long shift. Apple, meanwhile, has been searching for its next growth catalyst beyond iPhone saturation. An AI-powered Siri that actually competes at the frontier level could reignite services revenue, boost hardware upgrade cycles, and potentially add hundreds of billions in market capitalization. But here's the investigative question that deserves serious scrutiny. Is this alliance a sign of Apple's confidence in its AI roadmap? Or is it actually an admission that Apple's in-house chip development, the celebrated M-series and A-series processors, simply cannot keep pace with the demands of cutting-edge generative AI at scale? Apple Silicon has been revolutionary for on-device efficiency, but training frontier AI models requires a different beast entirely. NVIDIA's CUDA ecosystem and parallel processing architecture still reign supreme in that domain. There's also a competitive tension worth examining. Apple and NVIDIA are not natural allies in the traditional sense. Apple has historically been obsessive about vertical integration, designing its own chips, its own software, its own everything. Depending on NVIDIA, even partially, represents a philosophical concession that the AI arms race may be moving faster than any single company can internally manage. And NVIDIA, for its part, has every incentive to deepen its relationship with Apple, because landing Apple as a significant AI infrastructure customer would be one of the most powerful commercial endorsements imaginable. For investors watching both stocks, the signal here is nuanced. This alliance could accelerate NVIDIA's revenue visibility over the next several quarters, particularly as Apple scales its AI server infrastructure. For Apple, the street will be watching whether Siri's improvements translate into measurable user engagement metrics and, critically, whether they drive iPhone 16 and beyond upgrade demand in a market that desperately needs a compelling reason to upgrade. The broader implication is this: we are entering a phase of AI development where no company, regardless of its resources or engineering talent, can afford to go it entirely alone. The complexity and capital intensity of frontier AI is forcing even the most fiercely independent tech giants into strategic interdependencies they once would have considered unthinkable. The real question isn't whether this alliance benefits NVIDIA or Apple; it almost certainly benefits both. The deeper question is whether it's enough to justify the extraordinary expectations that the market has already priced in for the AI era we've only just begun.